Have you hydrated yet today?
A little bit. Coffee's hydration, right?
It's early and it's already over 80 degrees, yet we have a big day tomorrow planned, which means we have to do a lot today in preparation. So today, our number one primary goal is to finish the water system. Last video, we shared filling it up with water, and while it is holding, we do have a couple of leaks. That said, we're not entirely worried about them. We think we just need to do a little bit of tightening.
One of the reasons that we're not intimidated right now to start working in the heat is on Monday or Tuesday, we finally bit the bullet and had enough of this heat and decided to upgrade our RV air conditioner. Wait, add one, upgrade. We didn't have one to begin with. Last summer, we learned a harsh lesson and we're super excited to have one in our RV now. We did a video about it. It was quite a project. Give it a watch. I see evidence here.
Inky littered. How'd this get out here?
What is that? Is somebody, are you wearing? Oh, is that the shirt you're wearing?
Yeah.
Ooh, that's nice.
It's pretty nice. I like it.
Is it for sun?
Yeah. It's UPF 50, baby.
Bam. Very nice.
And I can take it off easily. Ready?
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 All I care about is that you are dressed for the sun. I don't want you to get a sunburn.
Gotta keep this baby soft skin as long as I can.
So we have a few connections to check this morning. First, we've got our main hydrants and fill hydrant. And then there's one up here by the hot tub that's a spigot or a yard hydrant. And then back over here by the garden is also a yard hydrant. We can do just a quick tour of those. What's the prognosis?
So I asked Jesse, if we did a little backfilling, just a little, how are we supposed to tell if it's leaking? And he said, you should be able to see standing water like this because our ground percolates so well, or at least moisture. So I don't see an active drip here, but when we were installing all this, it's Jesse's fault, just kidding. Jesse turned his back for just a second and the hydrant started spewing water and it fell over. Beep. So we're wondering if that connection is a little bit leaky. So basically that's what we gotta do today is go around and tighten up anything that looks wet.
I forgot to mention, you might remember from a couple, 3 videos back, we actually buried a valve down here in a T that goes to the RV and splits off to the garden. You might be thinking, gosh, you can't test that because you already buried it. We actually ran that with air. We put that under air pressure for a little while to check for leaks, and we had no leaks, so we feel pretty good about water. So we're now checking the yard hydrant, or excuse me, the garden hydrant. And I don't know, Alyssa, what do you see?
I think that's not dry, it's bone dry.
It looks pretty doggone dry down there. The connection actually over here is still exposed.
Yep.
So if it was going to be wet down there, there would be drips and leaks. This RV water hose that's laying on the ground right here has been our main water line for almost a year. It is exciting at this stage of the build to be getting rid of all this temporary stuff. It's just laying on the ground. You have wire and hose and pipe and just looks like a war zone. So thank you for your service, water hose. It's nice knowing you. And now we're at the hot tub hydrant. We actually turned this on and hooked a hose to it just so we could use some of the water that's in the cisterns because we're unfortunately going to have to drain a lot of that water back out. Looking pretty dry, Alyssa.
I think so, yeah.
So we know at the top of the cisterns that we also have a couple of leaks that need to be repaired. We'll go up there later and try to deal with those all at once. So right now, it looks like we have just one leak down here at the main connection.
That's pretty good, yeah.
I have a hunch, maybe it's a hope,
yeah,
that it's just the threaded connector and that it's not the saddle tee. The saddle tee, if you watch the previous video, it actually clamps over the hose and it's got a rubber seal that seals up against the main water line. If that's leaking, that'd be really difficult to repair. I'm hoping we just need to give that a crank. So I'm looking for the source of this water and I'm looking right in here where this connector for this line comes into the saddle tee, and I can see water on the threads. So I'm happy to report, I'm pretty sure we just need to give this a little bit of a tightening and we should be good to go. Oh yeah.
Ooh.
That was super loose. Sometimes the difference between a leak and a knot is just like a quarter of a turn. No, she's still leaking.
Really?
I can see it leaking.
You can see it pulling up.
No, I can actually see a slight reflection in the connector here. The water is coming out.
Can you make it tighter or is it pretty tight?
I can tighten it, yep. I'm inclined to think that we may have to put like a Teflon tape on there, because it may not be a tightness issue. It may be just an imprecise thread issue. I do want to say something to you folks out there who've never built a water system. And I know there's somebody who's going to call me a egotistical liar. But water systems leak. Did you get that? Mm-hmm. Water systems leak. That's my profound wisdom of the day. Just because you don't think your system leaks doesn't mean it doesn't leak. Everybody's water system probably has a tiny leak in it. We just accept that a drip is just a drip. So especially systems that are buried in the ground, you'll never know. If you really want to prove it to yourself, turn your water off for a month and don't use a drop and see what your water bill is. And then you'll know how much your system leaks. I'm patiently waiting for a drip. I see a tiny bit of flow right here.
Oh, yep.
There's tiny little grains of sand that are moving. But that could just be this water up here is actually just like moving down.
We cleared some of the clay out from under here and now we see an active drip. And we actually tightened it quite a bit and it's still dripping.
When we put this connection together, I identified a threat to this system, and that's our double encasing for the RV is actually clear over here. So if you were to look from a bird's eye view, you would see that this pipe comes in here ever so slightly at an angle. And what it's doing is it's pinching, kind of pinching this connector this way. And it may be just enough that it's causing that leak. So there's a few ways we could address this. Moving this system down was something that we had done from the top. Remember, we pulled this entire system down to try to relieve that stress. So I'm not sure what changed here because we thought we had this pretty well in line. And I can tell you right now that we're probably over 4 inches off. So we may be able to dig all this back out and stretch this ever so slightly to relieve that stress. And that may take that drip away. Or we can go the more complex route and use fittings and things, which would take weeks to do because of the timeline on fittings.
We've come to an agreement. We're going to hook this up via a strap to the truck and we're going to try to pull it down the hill just a couple more inches. These rocks are going to be a bugger to the very end.
Just going to move the hydrant a couple inches,
just an inch.
They said. You guys are sissies. It's 124 degrees in Phoenix today, they said. From their air-conditioned house by their swimming pool.
The air conditioner is already sounding terribly good and we've only been working for an hour.
Number 2. Still trying to get to final rock. 10.
Is that the big one?
Nope.
Not the big one. Oh my god. That's pretty good rock.
Just gonna move the hydrant a couple inches, they said.
That's honestly like 3 or 4 times bigger than I thought it was. We are lucky to find this come along at an estate sale. If you haven't seen that video, check it out. We found a lot of awesome stuff actually, and we got it all for a really great price. Stop.
Why?
Now we're torquing this the other way, so it looks like we need to do just a tiny bit more digging.
So we came up with a plan at the hardware store, but it involves asking a neighbor for help, and he doesn't get off work for a little while. So the water down here in the lower hole has receded enough that we can at least see the plumbing, which could be a good thing or a bad thing. I think we're going to remove this fitting that was originally leaking. We're going to add Teflon tape just to give us a little extra seal. And then, now that I think about it, it may actually be a really great time to remove these hydrant fittings and tighten them up, because there was actually a leak on one of those elbows, wasn't there?
Yeah.
I think there was.
Yep.
All right, so let me take this off here, and then before we connect this all back up, we actually need to remove that hydrant so we can do some work on those fittings. I don't know why they're leaking, because we put Teflon tape on them, so they should be perfectly fine, but so goes plumbing.
I sort of feel like we have bad karma coming our way or something, and I can't think of anything that I did. It's probably from that one time where when I pulled a girl's chair out from behind her on her birthday when she was blowing her candles out.
Thanks for doing that. Real mature.
What did you do? What did you do that
up.
we're getting punished for right now?
Probably something. I don't know. Probably stole a kid's ice cream cone or something. I'm going to take a risk here. I'm actually just going to remove the hydrant.
Cool. Can you take that?
Yeah.
I don't remember a level like this on Super Mario, do you? Like, there's no failed plumbing system level. Or is there?
So what happened was air got in the system and it burped its way all the way to the top. And so now there's water just sitting in the line.
Okay.
And now it wants to flow.
And you can't really shoot it outside of the trench.
And that's all there is.
Are we done?
Yep.
Wow.
I'm redoing the tape because I wanted to take it apart instead of just tighten it a little bit. And taking it apart, or excuse me, tightening it with dirt on the threads is just not a good idea. And because I had to take it apart, I'm redoing the Teflon tape.
Boggs, I love ya, but these shoes are way too hot in this heat.
I'm pretty sure that's where it was last time, but it was leaking. So I guess we're gonna go another half turn.
Now we're waiting for our neighbor to arrive. Hopefully he can give us a little bit of help. And if we really luck out, we'll have everything fitted tonight and nothing will be leaking. That would be really awesome. That's incredible.
It's awesome. Oh, this is the front. So
Yeah,
it'll
that'd
slide
be
on
the
just
front.
like that, yeah.
How about it?
That'll
Wow.
work.
Can you get on there and
I'm gonna truth.
The big mammoth hammer.
I don't think we need anything else, do we?
She's looking pretty good.
Wow.
Okay. Oh yeah, she's turning nice and
Oh,
easy
wow.
now. Wow.
I'd try it now.
Yeah.
Let's back her off here.
Oh my gosh.
She's dripping.
There, I just felt one there.
Felt one.
And let's try
So
her.
let's go just a tear a bit more. Coming out the threads here.
Oh, is that right? That's where it
Yeah.
is?
Because it's coming out past the seal, and it can't get past this, so it comes out and then it works its way through the threads and pops out.
Gave her a major.
That's
Wow.
a pretty good turn.
Who knew there was like a whole nother turn or two in there?
Well, we're
Turn,
like a
maybe.
full thread past where this one over here is. That's what makes me think it's something stupid. Grain of sand or something stupid in there. Because I mean, every other one, we hand tightened the front one. It was fine. I tightened it up more. I think it's got the angle, and I think the darn thing's because it's got this, you know, tilt to it, that it's got just enough of a pinch on that gasket that a little bit of water's sneaking by.
Reaching maximum here.
Still dripping exactly the same.
Gosh.
I don't think it's. I don't think it has anything to do with tightness. Well, sometimes you get validated. You have to go to the moon and back and build a custom tool, and you have to be a metal worker to realize you were never going to get it in the first place. It was as leak free as it was going to be from the time we hand tightened that nut, and it hasn't stopped leaking at all. We've added what, almost 3 more turns on that.
Yep.
We built this freaking wrench, for God's sakes. Our neighbor helped us and cut this with a torch and welded the pipe on and did all this wonderful, amazing work, and drip,
Yeah.
drip. Yeah, so plan C. I
Yep.
think this is plan C. Maybe it's D.
I think it's B.
B.
plan B.
This was clearly plan B. This is plan A and a
Yeah.
half, or A 2.5. is to actually use silicone on the inside. It's become obvious to us that torquing this thing down is going to either damage the bulkhead, which we do have a spare, but why do that? Today was a rough day.
It was very
Started
rough.
out simple. We ended up with just, you know, knees deep in water, drips and leaks, and now mosquitoes are trying to eat us. So I think I can speak for both of us and say that because this is a permanent system, it is so important that you do it right. And
As right as possible.
Right, and I said earlier, it'll mess with your head because what is that 99% where if you stop now, you're ahead, but if you go 1% farther, the whole thing blows up. I think we did a good job. Nice work.
Yeah.
I don't know how we did it. We worked through the heat of the day again.
Yep.
Just gonna fix a couple leaks, and it's been a lot of hours.
I think we're planning on backfilling a lot of this tomorrow. We have a friend and a neighbor coming to help us first thing in the morning, so we should probably call it quits for tonight, even though we're hoping to do some repairs on the Rock Grizzly, and we'll get a fresh start tomorrow.
Yep. Let me on, sucker. Let me on. I'm shocked you perpetually allow me to drive this thing.
Why?
Because I'm crazy. Not really.
I trust you.
I'm pretty safe.
And now we romantically ride off